yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? I hope you're all right. You should be. It is Friday. TGIF, am I right? Pinching a punch for the first day of the month because it is Friday, November 1st, all day. And I am your host, James Clements. You can see me on the panel, the official NBL Supercoach show. You can see me on the AFL Today show. And you can see me on NFL Australia, as well as other things. I just do lots of the things. Anyway, I'm here, back in Larryarma Studios. So if you're watching on the old YouTube, you can see the Delhi ones. You can see Mr. Coop. You can see Delhi over the shoulder. Not bad, good size. Nice day for it, I will tell you what. Bloody hell. Big weekend ahead. Nice day unless you're a Bucks fan. We'll get into that in a second. Or a Magic fan, because Paolo Banchero is out injured for a big chunk of time. And the Clippers, wow, they just keep coughing up leads. We'll do a big weekend preview today, but we've also got the NBA Straya Game Wraps from the 4 games today. We've got That's Not an iPhone, Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball, all the good stuff, as well as, the Unpopular Opinion of the Day, and Outback Takehouse. We're serving up a flame grilled steak. What else we got? I think we've got an Andrew Gaze Graham MAMBA Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. It's pretty good. Might just throw in a Luke Longley Role Player of the Day as well. And then we'll pick and preview every single game for the weekend. We went 3 of 4 today. We went 8 of 11 yesterday. We're bloody flying. I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's get into it. Episode 1145 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Mick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq Attack.
Oh, you better. I'll tell you what. It is Shaq-a-roni season. This is the fun part about having NBA League Pass. I now get to see the Shaq-a-roni ads. It's great. So, little bit of a... geez, Jim, how do you start every show here? It's usually with the daily whip around, isn't it? Yes, but by the same token. So we had the old Foxtel now running through Telstra TV. They just, discontinued the Telstra TV. The service is finished, and they're like, here, take a fetch box. And I'm like, okay. And I'll tell you what, they suck. It is just, I don't know what's going on there. Everything's dark and shit and just, Anyway, so I'm just like, all right, that's all right. That's why I've got League Pass and I've got DAZN for your football as well. And it was just nice to see some Shaq-a-roni mentions on some of the broadcasts. Oh, this is great. It is Shaq-a-roni season. I keep telling you, it's Shaq-a-roni season, people. Let's bloody go. And then Shaq is also tweeting out, it's that time of the year. Meh, 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 meh. Always weird and funny. Shaq is just one of the great follows. Anyway, let us actually start, the way we start every show, with the actual daily whip around, which doesn't involve me whinging about set-top boxes. I've got an Apple TV. Those things are awesome. But why can't we get the Foxtel Now app on there? Nobody knows. It sucks. Anyway, the daily whip around again. There you go. Paolo Banchero. So, a day after he launches that almost game-tying, or game-winning three, I think it was tying, wasn't it, at the buzzer? He's being diagnosed with a torn right oblique and is sidelined indefinitely to the point where he'll be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. What a massive, massive kick in the nards for the Magic men and Magic fans. That is brutal. He just dropped 50. It was on an absolute tear. I love me some Paolo Banchero. He's really fun to watch. And then this. Brutal. Is no good. Other little bits, look, we'll get to Orlando and stuff about that and the ramifications of this in Giannis. But the ramifications are it's bad. Like losing your former number 1 pick, absolute ascendant superstar, is gonna suck. And like at least 4 weeks, 4 to 6 before they just go, what's going on with your oblique there, bro? And he's like, yeah, she's still rooted. It stinks. It really stinks. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. Anyway, other little bits and bobs. We had, obviously, no Larry Markkinen today again for the against the Spurs for the Yaz, which kind of sucks. They also had some like declining of options out there as well. So Marjon Beauchamp for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's Algonquin for the good land, not Algonquin for the good land if you are Marjon Beauchamp, because you don't have your fourth-year rookie spot option picked up. And the Lakers declined the option on Jalen Hood-Schifino, which is, that's the third-year option. Oh, we need it for flexibility. Hey, remember how you drafted that dude ahead of Jaime Jaquez, who could actually help you now? And now you don't need it? What are you doing? It is an absolute mess there in Lakerland, just saying. Anyway, speaking of messes, Ben Simmons. Oh, we've gotten to the point of the cycle where Ben Simmons says how much he'd love to play for Australia. Guess what? Shush! No one cares until you prove that you're any bloody good at this point, right? At this point, literally who cares? Josh Giddey is an ascendant superstar. Oh, geez, it'd be nice if we had Ben Simmons, like a big point guard who actually wanted to play. Yeah, he hasn't proven he's anybody good. We've got the graphic at the moment. We've got the fouls, field goals, and turnovers tracker for Ben Simmons at the moment. And I'll tell you what, spoiler alert, it's not good. It's bad. Like, okay, cool. I want to play for Australia, man. All right. This is the fun part where in 2 years' time you go, oh, nah, I got to work on my game. At that point, you'll be like 40. With Shagger's back. Like, it's just a bit ridiculous at this point. But his entire thing was like, oh, look, you can't control surgeries and injuries. And I was just shattered. And I talked to all my mates back home and I want to play for Australia. It's like, are your mates just Christian Petrarca at this point? Because it feels like your mates back home is like, hello, who's this? Ben who? Yeah, nah, I don't know him. Sorry, mate. Wrong number, I reckon. But yes, it's pretty chaotic. Anyway, I'm just saying Ben Simmons is a bit of a Giannis trade bait. As a bit of, well, not a trade bait, but, you know, a bit of a salary blast. Just keep him around. But anyway, he did say, look, ultimately it's my dream. I want to put on that green and gold and represent. Well, guess what? You've had plenty of bloody chances, Benny boy. So shut the fuck up until you do it, basically, at this point. Because this is just gaslighting at this point, isn't it? Oh, hey, Australia, it'd be really nice to represent you. Fucking do it. Shut up. Anyway. Hey, speaking of representing Australia, here's some actual fucking players who are actually putting their fucking, you know, time and, you know, hard-earned money on the line to go and represent their fucking country, not having a bloody sook every time it pops up. Ben Simmons. So the squad for the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup 2025 qualifiers has been announced. It's in Thailand later this month. We've got Sam Froling, Mitch Norton, Chris Goulding, Lockie Olbrich, Ben Henschel, Sobes, good old Sobe Zero, Nathan Sobey, Will Hickey, a.k.a. Davo Hickey, DJ, love that, Geordie Hunter, dun, 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 Jack White, Nick Kay, my best mate, and Rocco Zakarski. Jeez, you'd hope that Rocco's bloody better in a Boomers uniform than he's been for the Bullets. Jesus. Anyway, Jacob Chance is the coach as well, which is pretty good. I always get angry as well when like really young coaches are like, you know, awesome. It's like, you're young, you're so much younger than me and you're awesome at your job. So great job by Jacob Chance there. Love that. All right. Don't know. Look, those option declinings, blah, 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 blah. Just again, like the Hood-Schifino from the Lakers is just fucking malpractice by the Lakers at this point. Like Jaime Jaquez was like a local dude. He was ready to go. Miami snag him. Lakers look like fucking idiots. They're now declining, you know, his option because they're just not they're not in a development phase. Oh, we need youth around LeBron. No, you need dudes who can fucking walk in and not be overawed by this and go from there. That's not what they've been doing. Anyway, and Marjon Beauchamp. That's just another sort of, we'll talk about Milwaukee at length later on, but just yet another example of, again, just them completely screwing the pooch. Hey, let's do some game wraps. Game wraps. That's right, the game wraps from today in Milwaukee. It was not Algonquin for the good land today. They were 99. Memphis scored 122. Now, I'm no math magician, but that's substantially more than 99. This was a smashing because the Bucks are an absolute goddamn mess. They're disinterested, lackadaisical. We'll get to a pantsing in the night later on, but this is just a team that is not on the same page. We just need trading camp together. Doc needs a bit of time to get into gel. They're 1-4, and they gave up 40 points in the first quarter to Memphis. Are on a back-to-back. This was a disaster. Like, it was 70-48 at the half, and you're like, this game is over. Like, the Bucks just do not have the whoopang to keep up, and they did not. And this is the thing. If you have a point of attack guard who can get to the rim, do anything, or a wing who can do that, they will fucking shred Milwaukee. And guess what? I don't know. Grizzlies got a dude by the name of Ja Morant who can do a little bit of that. Just saying. And who had a bloody good game. But the biggest thing for me is like how much the Grizzlies just fought, brought the fire, brought the passion, and like did not ever fucking take a step back in this game and just fucked Milwaukee up. Like, Milwaukee would give them, like, a little bit of we might go on a bit of a run. And then Memphis, like, fuck off, idiots. No. And this was an absolute laugher. They're up 30. 30 at the start of the fourth quarter. Milwaukee are broken. We're going to talk about them later. And it's not this man's fault. Giannis, 37, 11, and 4. He shot 17 and 22, and they got fucking straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
Why is that? Oh, probably because Dame went 1 of 12. 6 assists, a turnover, 4 points, 0 of 6 from downtown. Gary Terrence, Trent Darby Jr., 9 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 0 of 7 from 3. Now, again, I'm no math magician, but if your starting backcourt goes 0 of 13 from downtown, you're probably not going to win too many games, are you? Taurine, the Red Bull Prince, he went 1 of 6 from 3 as well. Oh, geez, Jim, is that 3 starters combining to shoot 1 of 19 from 3? Yes, and it's fucked. Portis, 5 of 14 off the bench. They're horrible. 9 of 42 from downtown. They had only the 10 turnovers, but the fact that the Grizz shot 8 of 28 from 3, so that's 1 less 3-point make on like 14 less attempts. It's ridiculous. Ja was incredible. An awesome triple-double, 26, 10, and 14 for him. He was massive. He was everywhere. He's like just right up in their guts, just absolutely causing havoc. 9 of 16 from him. 19 and 9 from Santi Aldama. 13 and 5 from Triple J. Jalen Wells crushed him. And you might be sitting there going, Jim, who's Jalen Wells? And you'd be well within your like purview to be asking that question because Jalen Wells is the sort of dude that now just kicks the shit apparently out of the Milwaukee Bucks. He won the title a couple of years back. 16 and 7. It was bloody awesome. Who is he, Jim? You haven't said that yet. He's a second-round pick from this year's draft. Do the Bucks have anybody that they've drafted in the last like 8 fucking years that could score 16 and 7? I mean, not really. Let's have a look, shall we? No. Marjon Beauchamp. No, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Patty Connaughton, 1 of 7 3 points. No, they don't. They just, AJ Green, just, nah. Stop trying to make AJ Green happen. Andre Jackson Jr., nah. It is a mess there in Milwaukee. Do you trust Doc Rivers to fix it up? I don't. Anyway, 11 and 10 for Jake LaRavia and Scottie Pippen Jr. He's going to pop up again in the second. 16, 3 and 1. He was awesome. Great win for the Grizzlies there. 3 and 3. Milwaukee dropped to 1 and 4. Houston! We're smashing Dallas. And then Dallas went, hang on, we're better than these guys, aren't we? Turns out, no. 108-102. Houston win as 6.5-point underdogs. Nailed that pick, just saying. But they got up and never looked back until Dallas came flying at them at the end of the fourth quarter. Gave them a 1-2 Costa Zoo, but Houston stayed on their feet. It was amazing. They're up 14, didn't score for ages in the fourth quarter. It's a 7-point game. Clay hits a 3, and you're like, here we go. This is the classic Houston bottle it. Dallas come from the clouds and just sneak out. Nope. Jalen Green hits the super tough and just stupid 2. Luka hits a 3, and you're like, oh my God, they're just going to do it. Jalen answers with an even stupider, harder 3, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then Luka hits another 3, and you're like, oh my God, this is sick. So if you haven't watched this game, to be honest, you can just probably watch the last fucking 6 minutes. It's fine. 3-point game again. It's 103-100. Amen Thompson, it's just a fucking awesome baseline jumper that he had very little fucking, business hitting. And it was incredible. 5-point game from there. Weirdly, Dallas don't foul after this, after a miss. And you're like, what is happening? Dylan Brooks hits the sealer and the game was over. But really good win from Houston. And this is why when I talk about having too many dudes, sometimes it's a good thing. Because you can just throw Amen Thompson out there at the end and hope that he does something. Because Fred VanVleet, the fighting VanVleets, was not helping things today. Dylan Brooks is handy as well. But they got so much from Tari Eason and Amen Thompson off the bench that was a bit ridiculous. Anyway, the Mavs got out-rebounded 37-50, which was absolutely wild. And it was obviously a thing that Houston keyed in on. They're like, look, they've got two bigs. We've got basically Şengün. And Jalen Green had 12 rebounds himself. It was nuts. But Jabari, Eason, Thompson, Dylan Brooks, none of their dudes who had big rotation minutes of that top 7 had fewer than 4 rebounds. It was awesome. Whereas you think about Dallas and you're like, oh, yeah, cool. And Dan Gafford had 3 rebounds. Clay had 1. I mean, Clay's not going to be rebounding too much at his advanced age, but here we are. Luka goes 12 of 15 and 3 of 7 from downtown, 29 points. And you're like, hang on. Sorry, 12 of 25. 12 of 15, what I'm saying. It's 12 of 25. I'm like, he missed a lot more shots as I was watching this game. Anyway, 12 of 25, 3 of 7 from downtown, 29 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And that's one of those ones you go, oh, right, yeah. If Luke is going to have 2 assists, it means that everybody missed shots, and that's pretty much what happened. They shot 45% from the floor, 10 of 30 from 3. Kyrie had 28, 8, and 7, and he is crushing it at the moment, Kyrie. Shot 10 of 20 and 5 of 6 from downtown, but everybody else just sort of struggled. You had the 2 of 9 from Clay from downtown for the 12. You had 6s for PJ Hamilton, Washington, Dan Gafford, 6 for Derek Lively, and it just wasn't enough because Spencer did what he went 0 of 5. Q Grimes went 0 of 1, and Jaden Hardy 1 of 3. And they're your sort of primary bench scorers there. Not great. For the Rockets, Jalen Green was awesome late. He was not very good for a big chunk of this game, as everybody else sort of carried the load. Then he went, check this out, guys. I'm going to bring us home. He was fantastic down the stretch. 23 points, 9 of 21, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Yes, he's wildly infuriating. I think I tweeted out. He does the dumbest shit or take the dumbest shot you've ever seen, then hit the most insane shot you've ever seen. You're like, this is wicked. 17, 12, and 4 for Şengün. 14 and 6 for Jabari. You got 17 for Dylan Brooks as well. Van Vliet was shocking. 2 of 13. Tari Eason, though, 15. Amen, 10. 27 free throws to 20, and the out-rebounding advantage made a huge difference as well. They had 18 offensive rebounds, which is absurd. So big win for Houston in a big Texas battle. They're both now 3-2, those teams. San Antonio took care of Utah, 106-88. Took the Spurs this morning. Very happy with that. Big bounce back in game because the Utah Jazz led by 9 early. Led again in the third quarter. It was 55-55 as well. And the Spurs ripped off an 8-0 run and never looked back. And WEmby had a 5x5. Geez, Jimmy buried the lead there. He was pretty bloody good. He's going to pop up again later, though. Don't worry about that. The Jazz only had 2 starters in double figures, and it was Filipowski and Keontae George, which is not great. 5 of 14 for 15 points for Keontae. Filipowski had 12 and 5. Cody Williams went 0 of 6. Jeremy Clarkson 1 of 6. Again, if you got a couple of dudes like that going a combined 1 of 12, not ideal. 16 for the sex man off the bench. JC, John Collins, it's a tall cocktail, went 14 and 11 as well. But they just look bad. 39% from the floor, 7 of 32 from 3. The Jazz are a basket case. The Spurs, however, WEmby, 25, 9, 7, 5 steals and 5 blocks. It was a plus 43. Plus 43 is stupid. What are we doing? That was amazing. 19, 7, and 10 for Chris Paul. 11, 5, and 3 for Sohan. Keldon had 13. Mamu had 10. And they smashed him. Utah 0 and 5. San Antonio Banderas Spurs 2 and 3. Big win for them. And you'd love to see it. And then finally, the Phoenix Suns went into LA to the Intuit Dome again and beat the Clippers again, which is pretty fun. Because what happened with the Suns? Well, they were down 21. What did they do in the third quarter, Jim? They hit 15 straight shots. It's absurd. They win at 125, 119. This game was off its rocker. So they beat the Clippers 116-113 at the first Intuit Dome game and did it again. The weird part is they're just not going to be back there again this year because I don't think the Clippers are going to make the playoffs. Just saying. Hashtag spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But Ryan Dunn, and then, look, this is my favorite thing about it, the way that this comeback happened, is that one of the oft-repeated axioms of NBA Straya is that, yes, getting down 21 is bad and coming back is good. But it's also really fucking hard to actually win the game from having done that because you expend so much energy doing so. But if you just fucking hit every shot, it's a bit easier. Seriously, 15-15 is fucking stupid, right? But classically, once you tie it up, it's hard to get in front. But then the Clippers had a turnover, a couple of really bad, ugly, early shot clock shots where you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And Ty Lue's like, what the fuck are you doing? Boom. Ryan Dunn hits a three. Grayson Allen hits another three. That is how you break a deadlock, take the lead, and get up over a bucket. Because that's always that key thing, that sort of 3-4 point line of like, you've made the comeback. Can you make it stick? And if you get up like 2 buckets, it just makes it that much better because you're just not fucking going back to a stalemate every time they score, you score, whatever. And it takes that tiny hint of a bit of pressure of it. Like the Clippers dragged themselves back into it, of course, but they could not hit shots down the stretch. And Devin Booker just kept hitting free throws. He just kept getting fouled and he hit some big shots. And they hit Royce O'Neal for like a massive, massive shot late. That essentially made it from a 3-point game back up to a 6, and then the Clippers were always on the back foot. So 125-119, a really raucous game where the Clippers were absolutely fucking killing them. What was it? It was like 70-52 at the half. And you're like, this is just a day of blowouts apparently. What the bloody hell? Nope. Phoenix come flying back. It was awesome. Great win. And I'll tell you what, the Clippers, yeesh, 23 for Norm. Norm Powell, 9-21. James Harden had 25, 10, and 13 with 6 turnovers. He shot 8 of 19 and 3 of 10 from downtown. Zoobs has been fantastic, BT Dubs, 22 and 12. He shot 9 of 10 from the floor, and every time they went to him, he was just like, I'm just going to score on Nurkic. And then they sort of just didn't get him the ball enough, and you're like, that just seems fucking stupid. Seriously, it was weird. Outside of that, Derrick Jones Jr. gave them a little bit of something late, but not enough. 11 points, 3 steals for him. 14 for Kevin Porter Jr. on 6 of 12, shooting 0 of 3 from downtown. Look out for that. Soup! And that's kind of it. You're like, is that Kai Jones out there running around? It's like, yeah. So, don't know about this. Nick Batum, I steal your money. Had 3, 5, and 3. But 14 turnovers to 12. The Suns hit 18 threes to 12. And you're like, yeah. That's how the Suns are going to win these games. Royce O'Neal hit 5 or 6 from downtown. He had 21 and 7. You had 7 and 11 for Trey Jones. You had 11 and 3 and 2 for Nurkic, who, as long as he's giving them something, he just sort of seems to give them a spark. 16 for Ryan Dunn, the rookie. He was absolutely fantastic, apart from a couple of missed shots late. And they kind of went at him on defense as well. There's like, all right, Rook, show us what you got. He's like, He was still a plus 11 in 34 minutes. And 18, 5, and 4 for Kevin Durant, who only took the 13 shots and sort of deferred to Devin Booker, who had 40. He was awesome. Booker's like, it's getting to this point where he's so smooth with it that you're like, god damn. 11 of 18 from the floor, 5 of 9 from downtown, and 13 of 15 at the line. 40 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals for Devin Booker. The Suns moved to 4-1. And the Clippers dropped to 2 and 3. How angry do you reckon Steve Ballmer is? Where every time he's basically hanging out of the Intuit Dome, they lose. Because, you know how I said they're 2 and 3? All 3 of their losses have come at home! Sucked in, Clippers, and they keep blowing massive leads. Oh, God. They lost to the Blazers yesterday, which is still the funniest thing in the world. All right, let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a night. That's a night.
I've got 3 for you. Jalen Green was absolutely awesome. Geez, Jimmy, wasn't that bloody, efficient? Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter. And I know that Jalen Green shits me up the fucking wall because he's so inefficient usually, but this game was just a masterclass. There are very few people in the NBA who can go toe-to-toe with Luka and go, all right, look, I know you're going to hit a fucking crazy shot. That's cute, but check this out. And that's what Jalen Green can do. And having a dude like that is such a fucking cool thing to have. Like, everybody will talk about Jalen Green being like trade bait. Can he play with Şengün? Are they a good fit together? Sometimes you just need hoopers. And Jalen Green is a fucking hooper. And I feel like I keep talking about Houston having too many dudes, and they probably do. And I guess you got to sort of see what you've got with Reed Shepherd. And I don't know if you're going to be able to do that when you've got Fred VanVleet, when you've got Dylan Brooks, when you've got Jalen Green. But for the moment, Jalen Green hitting the shots that he did, it was fucking awesome. WEmby with his second career 5x5. We'll talk about that again later. Absolutely absurd. But then Devin Booker, what a game. God, he was good against the Clippers because every time they needed, talk about, Jalen Green and tough buckets. Like every time they needed a bucket, Booker would either make a bucket or make the pass that got them the bucket or get like the hockey assist that had the open dude, Royce O'Neal, in the corner and wha-bang. 11 of 18 shooting, 5 of 9 from 3 for 40 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. You're taking the piss, and it's weird because you look like you're 12. Well done, Devin Booker. Who is Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. We had a couple of contenders. 1 of 6 for Jordan Jeremy Clarkson. You had the 1 of 8, I believe, for your man's Grayson Allen, a.k.a. the NBA's most punchable dude. But I guess the big thing is we had a couple of big names. Fred VanVleet of the Fighting Van Vleets. I mean, that was just a Barry Crocker shocker. What are you doing? He went 2 of 13, did Fred VanVleet of the Fighting Van Vleets. He needs to have another kid. I love that he got superpowers when he had a kid. I was the exact opposite. I was like, I can't do anything. I can barely get out of bed. It was awesome. Anyway, Booker was fantastic, obviously. And on the flip side, in that game, you had the Grayson Allen balancing out. Harden going 8 of 19, not too crazy. And then my favorite one though today, it's like, and when I say favorite, I mean it sucked. Because Dame Lillard, and Cody Williams went 0 of 6. We don't rag on rookies though. 0 of 5 for Spencer Dinwiddie was pretty funny. But Dame Lillard going 1 of 12 against the Grizzlies. It's getting to be a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, we'll talk about the Bucks in a second, but Dame was specifically brought in to lift their offensive ceiling. And Audrey's, 1 of 12 is not it. Tell you what. Anyway, Audrey's. How about old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? It'd be Giannis Antetokounmpo. Get that man some help. Oh, but they do. Yeah, they went and got him some help, and they've completely screwed the pooch. 37, 11, and 4, and you get your heads kicked in. There's going to be some fucking angry Greek dude just stomping around Tennessee tonight, causing all sorts of havoc and inventing awesome Greek swears, of which there are already plenty. So this is not great. Staring down the barrel, this was the get right game. And I was like, no, I think Milwaukee's defense against a Memphis team on a back-to-back will step up and go wha-bang. They went the exact opposite. They went wha-bang, bang, and it was just shit house. So Giannis is very, very quickly going to be just looking around going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm out. Which is not ideal. We'll talk about that again in a second. Pantsing of the night. Oh, we're just sticking with this game. There was a moment where they're down 19 points in the third quarter, the Bucks, and they just let the Grizzlies inbound the ball, so the clock starts because it's not the last 2 minutes. They walk the dog for they burned about 14, 15 seconds off the clock. And then they went, hang on a minute. What are we doing? Oh, we should grab it. And then, because of the fucking shit defense that they're playing at the moment, and the scrambling that they just put on, completely upon themselves, there was an open 3, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's just, the Grizzlies just completely pantsed you idiots. It was absolutely bloody brutal. Anyway, not great, a bit shit house, the Bucks. Yo, just got pantsed. All right, outside of this, let's get into a bit of better than Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. We're sticking with sons of all-time greats. So better than Bronny James, Scottie Pippen Jr. How good was he today? 16, 3, 1 1 with 3 turnovers. He shot 5 of 8 from the floor and 1 of 3 from downtown. Just saying, if we're going to have a son off, Scottie Pippen Jr.'s got Bronny beat. Bang! I can't wait till I actually get around to doing the production and actually turning better than Lonzo Ball into better than Bronny James and having LeBron say something about Bronny, but just, I've got to, there's a bit going on. We are very busy. So once I give you the time, I'll do it. It'll be fun. All right. Then everybody's actual favorite moment of the week. What do we got? That's right. You know what time it is? It's time for the magic tweet of the week. With this trophy, I now have 15 World Championship rings. Trophy emoji, like star-faced emoji, like absolutely amazing. It's him, it's Magic retweeting the Dodgers Hello Beautiful in the World Series trophy art. That was, I mean, you didn't do anything. You're a part owner. But at the same time, that was pretty cool. Also, now I'm like, what's the 15? He now has 15 World Championship rings, and I'm like, hey, just doing the maths in my head. I'm like, I don't know what he's counting, but still, that's pretty good. Anyway, what do we say? Thanks, Magic. My favorite one, though, from this one was World Series champs at Dodgers and a picture of him and Cookie. What do we say? Thanks, Magic. I love that. Good on him. All right, and finally, Dickhead of the Week. Let's do it.
Dickhead of the Week.
I'll tell you what, Dickhead of the Week, it was pretty thin on the ground for me, but most of it sort of came down to today and just going, Ben Simmons going, I want to represent Australia. Then shut up and do it, idiot. You know, that's basically all I came down to. I'm just like, I just don't care at this point. Like, you know how easy it is to go, okay, I've screwed up in the past. I want to represent Australia if you'll have me. It'd be great to get there with the boys. I want to hang out with Dally. I want to get part of this Boomers culture that Patty and Jingles and all the veterans have put together. And I want to give my all. And I want to represent my country in a way that befits the Boomers. But no, fucking Ben Simmons is always going to make it about himself. Amazing work. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening
Australia.
to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do some yeah-nahs. Hey, Jim, are Orlando cooked without Paolo? Yeah, nah. Yes. This is the biggest problem I think I had with them not getting, like, Jalen Suggs is great, and I love me some Jalen Suggs. Anthony Black and his development is really, really important, obviously, for this Magic team. But not having, like, so you've got Franz Wagner, you've got Wendell, you've got Johnny Isaac who came back as well. You've got, like, just an awesome base level of talent on the Magic team, but not having a veteran, and, like, obviously the notorious KCP and stuff, but not having, like, a veteran point guard just to go, okay, so we now don't have Paolo. This is how we're going to set the table. This is how we're going to run our offense. This is how, without our fulcrum, without our superstar, this is how we're going to keep on winning games and keep this offense just fucking moving at a rapid rate. And without that, that's my biggest doubt and my biggest fear for the Magic, because how many times have I said, I fucking love this Magic team, and I love how Paolo and Franz work together, and even that fucking big old pumpkinhead Mo Wagner, like, it just works. Gary Harris, Anthony Black, Ice Cole Anthony, like, the answer here will be to go, let's play more Anthony Black. Let's get Cole Anthony more involved as like our gunner off the bench. Maybe we start him. And it just, without Paolo, it's going to be such a fucking grind. But this is the thing. Franz can take that step up and go, okay, boys, give me... Achtung, give me the ball. I am Franz Wagner. That's definitely his voice. I like that my German accent just goes, Jim, scream Achtung as loud as you can, and then you're into it. See, that's I don't know, as a performer. That's what you always need, a jumping off point in your brain for accents, right? You need to find that reference and then go from there. That was a very great example of one. It's like me in German Rondo, and away you go. But Jett Howard's not there yet. Anthony Black, look, he gave them a couple of little great moments the other day. Is he ready to take a big step up? It'd be fucking cool if he is, but not having that veteran point guard to really help push this along. That's where my fear lies for Orlando. And like a month is a big chunk of time where you start 3-2, you look absolutely unreal. They dropped that shit game against Chicago yesterday, but we sort of knew, growing pains. And that's sort of what I, talked it off as yesterday. Like, this happens. You're going to cop some shit ones here and there. But that's also now when you lose a superstar for like a month plus, at least, like losing the shit games, like the shit one to Memphis that they lost, the shit one they just lost to Chicago. By rights, they should be 5-0, but now they go to Cleveland, Dallas, OKC, and Indy in their next 4 games. Oh, that's fucking brutal. Right? That's a 4-game road trip out of the fucking fiery depths of hell, having just been in Chicago as well, which they already lost. So it gets really fucking hard for Orlando really, really quickly. They then play New Orleans, Washington, and Charlotte, which is kind of nice. They then host Indy. And you're only halfway through fucking November at that point. Like, they just need to keep their heads above water for the next 6 weeks. Hope that Johnny Isaac can sort of pick up a little bit of the defensive stuff, maybe play a few more minutes here and there. Anthony Black comes along and leaps and bounds out of nowhere. Jett Howard gives him something. But yeah, replacing Paolo with like more Franz, good. More Cole Anthony, probably not great. But it does not help when you got 4 away games at Cleveland, Dallas, OKC, and Indy to start off with. I think... Look, in the long run, they'll be fine. It's early enough in the season that if you can come back and you'll get back to full strength by, December, January, like maybe January, February, hopefully they're all good. But yeesh. Anyway, the bigger one. Fucking Milwaukee cooked. Yeah, nah. It's 5 games into the season, but also probably. Like, this is the weirdest, we've got to wait for Chris Middleton to come back. Oh, yes, like all the other times, we've had to wait for Chris Middleton to come back. How did that all work out? Not great. And there's also the little thing about Chris Middleton where he's really old, and we just don't know if he's that good. Like, he was good 3 years ago. He's now 33. What happens to wings that aren't named fucking LeBron James? Once they sort of get towards that mid-30s spot, he'll be 34 in December. And I don't know, that ankle, it was just a bit fucking shithouse. Like, the dude dropped 42 against Indy back in the playoffs, but they end up still losing that series quite dramatically. And it's just going to get fucking hard because he's old. You bring him in. So the question is, will Giannis get jack of this Milwaukee situation and go, peace out, I'm gone? He's got a contract, 3 years to go still, 27-28 season, he's got a player option. So he's got 24-25 this year, 25-26, 26-27. So 2 years after this one. Guaranteed. That's the exact time you should be trading somebody. Just saying. That's like the Donnie Mitchell, Rudy Gobert moments as well, right? The thing is, you've given yourself a little bit of leeway if you're Milwaukee. Like, you've traded for Dame. You've got a new coach. We don't have Chris Middleton yet. So they're not going to pull the fucking trigger on it now. But should they? I'm just saying, if you want to go and get all those draft picks that Brooklyn have, bit of salary ballast in a bit of Ben Simmons and stuff like that, Cam Thomas, whatever you need, that can be done. Giannis goes to a big market, off he goes. But that comes back and you're suddenly just going, we are a perennial contender, and now we are fucking not again. I think you should be just going, fucking, well, we've invested in Doc. We're going to wait to see what happens when Chris Middleton comes back. We're going to hope that he and Dame and Giannis can all gel. And then you still got to give him like another 6 weeks to finally get up to speed. So we'll get to the fucking trade deadline and we'll be saying, I don't know if Milwaukee are any good, man. Like, it's going to suck. But this is the problem when you don't have cool young dudes coming through when you're the Bucks to help just carry a little bit of that load. Like, that's the weird thing about the Golden State Warriors where, we want to go 2 timelines, but by the same token, like Kuminga gives them something, Podziemski gives them something, Moses Moody is there. Well, that's unfair, but still. Whereas you look at this Bucks team and you're like, it's Taurine the Red Bull Prince and Brook Lopez and Giannis and Dame and Bobby Porter, and they're old and they're slow, and Pat Connaughton has completely forgotten how to play basketball, and it's brutal. So I don't think they will trade him. You can't trade him because he means so much to that city. He means so much to that franchise. They're only 1-4. And you've got all your built-in excuses if you're an owner, if you're the front office. But don't get it fucking twisted. They have fucked this situation. The Drew Holiday thing, we need more upside in our offense. Yeah, and every time a speedy-ish point guard comes to fucking town or you play them at their place, they shred you because Dame Lillard's cooked on defense. He can't do shit. And you don't have wings that can back him up. And Brook Lopez is also getting on in the old years. He's 400 billion years old and can't back up as well. So it's very fucking hard, very fucking quickly, doesn't it? But Chris Middleton comes back. Yeah, how good are 34-year-old wings to solve everything? I don't know. Zach B! Hey, Jim, Marcus Smart has been spudding it up in Memphis. Yeah, nah, too much Marcus Smart was the problem for the Celtics 2020 to 2022. From a Celtics fan, I never understand the hype with that guy. Yeah, nah, I love this because I think what you're seeing is like the way that the Celtics last year sort of, it put responsibility on the shoulders of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. It's like, you can't fucking force that responsibility and that leadership off to Marcus Smart. It's on you guys now. Like, you're the stars. It's like, but Marcus is the really loud voice in the locker room. Who fucking cares? He's gone now. It's on you. And now you're seeing him in Memphis. It's like, he's a leader. It's like, yeah, he's already injured. That's the Marcus Smart experience. I still think he'll give them something. And I don't mind it for Memphis. I don't mind him in Memphis. They need to get a bit of that grit and grind mentality back because once you sort of go through that grit and grind stuff in Memphis and then you have like those awesome teams from like 2-3 years ago and you go back through it and you're like Jarrett Jackson Jr., when they had Steven Adams, you had Ja, you had Bane, and you had like just a tough fucking roughneck crew. And now it's like a bunch of dudes. You're like, what the fuck happened, man? Like, that's a team that desperately needs Steven Adams back. Just saying. And that'll also free up some minutes for our man Jock Landale. But yeah, Marcus Smart, look, it was always like kind of weird, especially the defensive player of the year. That was a weird fuck up by everybody. But too much Marcus Smart was probably the problem with the Celtics because I guess this is the thing. We talk about hierarchies all the fucking time on NBA Straya now. And the AFL Today show, it's my thing, right? Hierarchies. Clear lines of communication and leadership. Boom, 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 boom. That just gummed shit up there for the Celtics. And I'm fascinated to see what happens in Memphis, but it's a good one by Zachy B. And then IMB, Ian Matthew Bassett. He was in between criticizing my doctorate. Jim, a grade 1 sprain is this and a grade 2 one is this, and you can be in between. I get it. Then go to 5 and just say grade 2 is that one that's in between 1 and fucking 2 at the moment. 1.5 is stupid. Anyway, again, I'm no medical doctor. I do want to chat to our man Danny D, who is an actual physio, and talk about when they talk about grades and sprains, because I understand like physiology and like the way that this sort of goes and the way you sort of have to judge everybody is sort of different, and like there's no exact hard fast fucking rule for a lot of that sort of stuff. But you know, when they say grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 sprains, all this sort of stuff, hammy tears, all that sort of shit, I feel like we're cooking it a little bit. There's way too much wiggle room when we're just saying this, and this, and it's a bit fucked anyway. IMB does point out, hey Jim, how good is it to see Paddy getting minutes? even if it means having to watch the Jazz play. Block emoji. Any chance Paddy ends up with a contender before the trade deadline? Yeah, nah. I am absolutely fascinated by this because my instant reaction is like, yeah, I mean, if he just gives them a bit of something, they better foist him off onto a contender and we're all fucking laughing, right? The other thing is, Utah might just need a couple of old heads around the place. Like, just to help out. And Paddy is absolutely 100% a vibes dude, obviously. And if you're trying to set a culture, it's probably fine just to keep him around. Like, you've already won a title if you're Paddy. Maybe just really like the clean air of Salt Lake City. I don't know. I reckon it might be a bit of a nah. Like, unless some team that sort of just needs a kick in the pants in terms of a bit of offense off the bench. And we actually saw that today. We'll get to that in the Australian Player Watch from today's games. But in terms of like teams that might need a bit of a shot in the arm for their offense, it is like, to be honest, it's a team like the Bucks or somebody like that who just go, we've got no one who can put the fucking ball in. Paddy, help us out, man. And outside of that, I mean, like the Thunder will be fine. Maybe someone like the Knicks, but they've already got sort of like Q Grimes and a couple of other sort of like, you know, rangy, guardy types to just boost in off the bench. Sixers are the same. Miami could help 100% use him back. I'm just saying. The Pelicans, they could definitely use a bit of buzz right now off the bench without DeJounte, with CJ out. So there are a couple of names out there you can go, yeah, shit, I can actually see it happening. But yeah, it all sort of depends on what Utah reckon. Because they might be just like, we brought Paddy in for the vibes. We want to keep him for the vibes. He's an important vibe guy, which is cool. And I'm here for it. All right, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm not that worried about the... Look, we're talking about the Bucks. Is Doc a shit coach? Probably not. Is it going to take a little while for them to figure their shit out? Probably, yeah. Have they just lost a couple of games they shouldn't have? 100%. That Grizzlies game was fucked. Losing to the Nets was hilarious. And the Bulls game was just brutal. But cast your mind back to like the season 8 when they kicked the fuck out of the Sixers. Their only win of the season. They've now lost 4 on the trot. Thing is, they have back-to-backs against Cleveland. And Cleveland are fucking awesome. But then they play the Yaz. So they'll probably be like 1-6 and they'll just be all fucking doc. Goose. And who's got kids? No, it's me. But they play home and home with the Cavs. And then they've got the Jazz game at home. Then they play the Knicks and they play the Celtics. You're like, oh, God, they could be 2-8. Doc could be fired by like midway through November. Tough one. But I think they survive it. And I think they've got inbuilt excuses, and that's sometimes all you need. All right, what about a bit of an Outback Takehouse? It's Friday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah. 4-for-1 TGIF. Oh, Foster's cans full of icy cold Foster's lager. Now, we're actually selling this shit back in Australia, so just get around it. You're drinking beers like your old man. Foster's lager. Bloody delicious, and it's only at Outback. Today's Flame Grill take is the Bucks are the new Lakers. That's right, they're going exactly down the Lakers path. They've got Dalvin Ham back in-house. Dame is their version of Russell Westbrook. They've given the car keys over to Giannis and gone, all right, Giannis, you drive. And he's like, where's that cliff? And off he went. This is what happens. Aging teams. It's really hard to get them good. You make one big move and it completely fucks you. Here we are. The Bucks are the Lakers. Only at Outback. They've got Darvin Ham, Doc Rivers. Brains trust, baby. Brains trust. Anyway, it's a bit of a strange one. But I still reckon, look, Dame has enough in him. The problem is it only happens like once a week now, where he can just fucking light you up, drop 30. If he can just get a couple of weeks going and they can sneak a couple out, they'll be all right. All right, quick Australian Player Watch right after this one.
This is Shane Hill, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right. Very light on the ground today for the Aussies because we got a Jock Landale did not play against Dallas because they're bringing Steven Adams back. And that's completely fair because Steven Adams is awesome. And we love Steven Adams. But Paddy Thrills in the 106-88 loss to San Antonio. He played 16 minutes, which is fantastic. He went 3-7 from the floor, 6 of which were from downtown. He went 3-6 from 3. So finishes with 9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. That's better than Vibes Guy. He's absolutely crushing it. Absolutely loving that. Tell you what, the Bucks could use a bit of a shot in the arm of Paddy, couldn't they? Bloody good, man. Bloody good. Anyway, so yeah, the Jock Landale situation, as I said, like, they've got just so many dudes, but he's like that third big in their rotation now. They've got Steven Adams back. And, you know, Steven Adams is just playing the 10 minutes the Jock Landale would have been playing. And we've got no Dante Exum out, obviously, still with his wrist injury for the Mavs. So, yeah, light on today. And Box Hill Benny, like the Ben Simmons stuff, as I sort of said, I just want him healthy. I want him back and playing. And I just want him to get back into a groove and like just be the Ben Simmons, the best Ben Simmons he can be. And if so, we're all fucking laughing. And that's good. Until then, though, fucking jeez. I can't wait to play for Australia. Shush. All right, quick Andrew Gaze Graham Mumber Award for outstanding achievement in the field of excellence.
It's the first
Andrew Gaze Great Mumber. Outstanding achievement in. That's right. Outstanding achievement in the field of excellence goes to Victor Wembanyama. Geez, Jimmy flew by him a bit earlier. Yes, because this was all going to be for him. And we're going to get the... What happened to the music? We had to play straight after. That was weird. Wembanyama. So he got his second career 5x5 today. There's only 23 all time. He's got 2 of them. So 23 all time. He's got 2 of them, and he's played 76 games total. He's already got 2 of them. So Hakeem and Andrei Kirilenko are the only other 2 players with multiple 5x5s. I loved Andrei Kirilenko as well. I could just watch him up close and personal in Brooklyn for a year and a bit. That was fun. But Wemby today, it was just absurd. Because he's going 9 of 20 from the floor, 4 of 13 from downtown, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. To be a plus 43 in a game that you win by like 18 points is just, what are we doing here? That is outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. But only 23 5x5s ever. He's got 2 and he's played 76 total games. You're just taking the piss at that point. All right, and the role player of the day, that's got to go to Amen Thompson, who actually ended up hitting like the biggest bloody... shot of that game against the Mavs today. I enjoyed that. And the opposite of that goes to Spencer Dinwiddie, who was hilariously bad. Like, I don't want to, dig in, but jeez, it's pretty bad. All right, Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Let's do it. So we go to Patty's IG. Oh, there's Nick K. What's he doing? Oh, he and the squid and the missus dressed up as 2 minions and their banana. And Nick K's the banana. What a legend. Got to get him back on the show. And there's one. Oh, he's got a... Wow. That's a book. It's in Japanese. I can't read Japanese anymore. I've forgotten how to do it. Josh Granny Green with a new story. Oh, someone dressed up as, in a surprise twist, Ray Gun. Didn't see that one coming. There's Granny hanging out as well. Dressing as... Oh, that's pretty good, though. Dressed up as Ray Gun and doing the dance. Chef J Pizzle. That's good. Very, very, very good. Is there anything from Patty? I should actually check that, shouldn't I? No. That's okay. He's been busy playing. All right, let's do a big game set of game previews for a huge weekend. So I'm going to go down to Lawn with the fam and hang out. I'll still be doing shows Monday and Tuesday, even with it being Cup Day here in Melbourne. I'll still be on the tools. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to miss anything. But we have a big weekend ahead. We went 3 or 4 on the picks today. So actually, if I bring up after going 8 of 11 yesterday, what do you reckon we are for the season? 40 of 68. That's bloody good. All right, so tomorrow we have the Knicks at Detroit Basketball. Now, you know that I love the Knickerbockers, and I also love the Detroit Basketball Pistons, especially covering in games like this. But Detroit at home, getting 6.5 points against the Knicks. You sort of look at that and go, oh, well, geez, Jim, you've been all over the Pistons all so far this season. At the same time, Detroit, I feel like the teams that they love just kicking the crap out of are like, or at least pushing, are like the shit teams, like a team like Miami or Philly where they're going to struggle to score. That is not this like Knicks team. The Knicks just put up 116 on the Heat. They did lose that Cavs game, that Knicks squad, but they also like outpaced the Pacers, that sort of shit. And the Pistons, as feisty as they are, I was very tempted to go them still here, but 6.5, I'll still take the Knicks because I think if you're not getting that much from Tobias Harris, if you can sick OG Anunoby and co onto Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, I think it's going to be really hard for Detroit to keep up. So remember, Detroit have lost 4 games already. They beat the Sixers the other day. They covered against the Heat just. They covered against the Celtics just. That was in Boston. Celtics sort of played with their food. I think the Knicks will just come in and fucking wipe the floor. So give me the Knicks minus 6.5. Now, this one sucks. Cleveland hosting Orlando. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go the Cavs here, minus 7.5. Orlando having to change like their offense and what's going everywhere, and no Paolo Banchero, and running more stuff through Franz and probably Cole Anthony, etc. Cleveland are fucking making mincemeat of teams at the moment, and you do not want to be walking in there wounded, and that's exactly what the Magic are doing. So I'm going to go the Cavs minus 7.5. Kenny Atkinson has that team firing on all cylinders. Mobley and Jarrett Gothro Allen look awesome. They all look really engaged. Karras is fucking thriving under his old coach. I love that Kenny is coaching in Cleveland. You know me, watched him in Brooklyn, got a lot of time and respect for Kenny Atkinson. And I love my sweet baby Karis LeVert. So let's go Cleveland minus 7.5 against the Orlando Magic Men. Boston travel to Charlotte for a pair of actual weird back-to-back games in Charlotte on back-to-back nights. They are 10.5 point favorites in the first one. And I'm going to go Boston minus 10.5. It's a big number, especially on the road. But Charlotte, look, I think their defense will just not keep up enough with this Boston team because we know that Boston are very good. We also know that Boston just lost, but Charlotte, look, they tried their absolute hardest to give up the ghost against that Toronto team. What I would say is go the over in this game. And I'm going to go Boston. Like, this could be 134, 118, and you're laughing. So let's go Boston, minus 10.5 there. Sacramento visit Atlanta. I think I'm going to go the Kings in this one. 5.5 point favorites against Atlanta. But the Hawks, I mean, there's just a little bit of just... Jalen Johnson is awesome. Trae Young has been fantastic on and off in a couple of these games so far. But they, the Atlanta Hawks, just lost back-to-back games to the Washington Wizards, who, last time I checked, are shit. So we are going to go Sacramento, who with DeMar DeRozan, with Darren Fox, with the Suvlaki King Domantas Sabonis, oh yeah, combination meat, thanks Domantas, are just good. Their baseline, pretty bloody good. Give me them against Atlanta, even in Atlanta. The Lakers go to Toronto. Ooh, Toronto, no Scoob, Scotty Barnes. This will be a bit of a bloodbath, I reckon. I know that I've said like Toronto have been like feisty and really good at home, and you should be taking them when they play at home. But without Scotty Barnes and against half decent teams, that goes out the window. Because my entire thing was like, yeah, Toronto, feisty at home. Scotty Barnes, without Scotty Barnes, they're cooked. Give me the Lakers minus 8.5. We'll probably see some Bronny in this one as well. That's how badly we'll probably go for the Raptors. So, look, Lakers, they do have a tendency to play with their food, but they will also beat the crap out of bad teams. And Toronto at the moment are a bad team. Chicago go to Brooklyn. Somehow Chicago are 2.5 point underdogs. I'm not entirely sure about this one. Brooklyn, maybe just because of the way that they've been playing pretty solidly, I guess. But the ask could very easily quickly fall out of this Brooklyn team. And the way that we've seen Chicago just step up and kick some ass and take some names, Brooklyn are not better than them. Like, Box Hill Benny might play in this one up against Gids, but Gids is the maestro. I don't know if the Brooklyn defense is good enough. I reckon Chicago get this done. Give me Chicago plus 2.5. Indy go to New Orleans, and they are 3.5 point favorites against the Pelicans. I'm going Indy in a heartbeat because the Pels just have looked like an absolute fucking mess those last couple of games. So yes, both of those are against the Warriors, but by the same token, Herb Jones hurt his shoulder the other day. CJ McCollum got hurt as well. Even if they do come back at some point, like, you've got Zion, you've got Spindles. Indy have got just a deep, awesome team. And I think Indy can do this. Indy have not been wildly trustworthy so far this year, but I'm going to go them in this road favorite spot. Minnesota, they host the Denver Nuggets, and they are 3.5-point favorites. Hey, what happened last year when these two teams played in the final, in the playoffs? That's right, Minnesota won. They don't have Cat anymore, and Randall's a bit of a problem. But Denver also have just only snuck by Toronto and snuck by Brooklyn. Minnesota are good. I think Ant-Man's going to continue to carve MFers up. So give me Minnesota minus 3.5. He's going to love going at the Joker. Rudy Gobert versus Jokic is always pretty fun and pretty chaotic. Like Denver, in talking about Milwaukee, it's sort of, we've now just skipped over like how bad Denver have looked because they've gotten a couple of wins against shit teams. Michael Porter Jr., what is up with that dude? He is just, yeah, nah. Well, there's an over-under for the Raspberries. I got sent about that the other day. That's good. And 10.5 favorites are OKC. I think they might have actually, yeah, that's now 11.5. OKC in Portland. Interesting one because you've got two young teams. Portland just hung with the Clippers. We saw that. OKC kind of have like these moments where you're like, hey, what are you doing? And then they ended up smashing the Spurs. They win that by... The Spurs still covered that game because it got to 12.5 and they won by 12. I'm still going to take OKC in Portland. I think this is a young, fun team that's just going to keep running it at Portland, and Portland will not be able to keep up. Should be a really fun one, though. Just keep an eye on that. Jeremiah Grant going up against these old muckers. Anyway, then on Sunday, we have Boston at Charlotte. Again, I'm going to go Boston back-to-back wins because obviously we don't have lines for the Sunday games. We'll take the head-to-heads. Memphis go to Philly, which is an interesting one because Ja Morant up against Tyrese Maxey. Sign me up. Can the rest of Philly's role players actually help out, though? Memphis on the road, are they a different beast? I think Philly might be able to pull that one out. Like, Memphis they're a little bit Jekyll and Hyde at the moment. Like, losing to Brooklyn yesterday was inexcusable, and the way they lost was inexcusable. The way they won today was really impressive. So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy, strange one, but I think Philly might just sneak out a bit of a win against Memphis because they desperately need it, or else Philly are just going to be like in a massive hole. Joel Embiid will be back soon-ish, they reckon. Probably won't be for this game, but give me Philly. Sacramento go to Toronto, having just played in Atlanta. Again, under normal circumstances, I go, we're going Toronto, boys. But without Scotty Barnes, it's really hard to back him up. So I'm going to go Sacramento to get back-to-back wins on the road, having just played in Atlanta. Golden State, Houston, that's a really fun one too. Maybe we get Steph back, maybe we don't. But Houston, they've got a lot of dudes. Golden State have got a lot of dudes. I don't think Golden State's dudes are as good as some of Houston's dudes. So I'm going to go Houston at home against the Warriors. Minnesota on a back-to-back playing in San Antonio, having played the night before at home against Denver. This is really, 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 really interesting. I'm going to take San Antonio on this one because I think they might just catch the Wolves a little bit unawares and we might get a massive WEmby game just to show up Rudy Gobert because you know he'd fucking love that, wouldn't he? He's like, oh, remember, Rudy, how I played you at the Olympics and I became our starting big man and you were relegated to the bench. Oh. That's exactly how they talk. They don't talk in French to each other. Weird that. But anyway, I'm going to take San Antonio in a bit of an upset against Minnesota. Just the wear and tear having played Denver the night before. Miami go to Washington. I'm going to take the Miami Heat. A couple of weird wonky ones for Miami. I think they do the job against Washington. Utah at Denver. Denver on a back-to-back. If Utah have Lowry, I'd give them a chance. But if they do not, I'm taking Denver, even with Denver on a back-to-back coming back from Minnesota. They should be fine. Phoenix host Portland. Phoenix should win that one, no problems, with Portland on a traveling back-to-back as well. And OKC, having just played in Portland, popped down the Pacific Coast Highway down to play the Clippers at Intuit. This is a big one for the Clippers. As I said, they haven't won a game at home. OKC, this is the old SGA Paul George, we own your fucking pick dickheads game, which I love. And I still think OKC will be too good for the Clippers. Give me the Thunder, despite playing on a back-to-back. Let's go. And then finally on Monday, we've only got 3 games on Monday, which is just, I mean, it's good because I'll be looking after the Squids because old mate's got to work a bit on Monday as well from, while we're down in Lawn, and I've got to be working as well. But only having 3 games makes it a little bit easier. We've got Detroit at Brooklyn at 7:30 our time. I'm going to take Detroit. I feel like, especially with the guard play there for Cade and Ivy, Jalen Jurenko, they might have a little bit too much for Brooklyn. So give me Detroit. And then Atlanta at New Orleans. I think the Hawks get a win there. As a bit of a surprise, Trae Young going whoopang. And then Orlando at Dallas. Oh, it just hurts my heart every time I say Orlando now. 11:30 a.m. I'm going to go Dallas. Luka and Kyrie would be too much for that banged up Orlando team, especially at home. And there you go. That'll do us for today and for this week. How good is it to be back and in the full swing of things? I'd say bloody great. I'm enjoying it a lot. My schedule's fucked though. So should be right. And like that's the sort of thing we're going to work through this season. I think we'll sort of, as mentioned, we'll do those shorter Tuesday shows. This week we might be doing a shorter, we've got a Cup Day show on Tuesday anyway. And it'll be at the home studio as well. So it'll probably be a shorter one regardless. But either way, Tuesday and Wednesday next week I reckon will be shorter shows just because there's a lot going on. But either way, in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG. We're all over the socials. But also get around us on TikTok and, of course, YouTube. Now, YouTube's the big important one. Go fucking subscribe to that. Hit the little bell so you get notifications when the show goes up, all that sort of stuff. You don't have to, just fucking put it on mute. Just run it in the background. It really would help. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment there. Say, Jim, hate your point about this, whatever. Figure out your shit when it comes to fucking grade 1 and grade 2 and grade 3 sprains. I'm a physio and you're not. I'm like, I get it. Yeah, I am an idiot. Never forget that. Not a medical doctor. Anyway, go do that. Go check out the YouTube. And also get around NFL Australia with myself and Gaz in all the same spots. We're doing lots more power rankings, lots more videos and shit. Obviously, it's amazing how far we've come in a couple of years, so I'm enjoying that a lot. NFL Australia is crushing. And also get around all the other shows. AFL Today Show, AFLW Today Show, AFL Today Show. Obviously, we've got a draft special coming up. Then we'll also have, what have we got? Cricket Today podcast is back and flying. Football Today podcast and hold all tickets. Spring Racing Carnival, better get on your GGs. They've got you sorted. Chuck a rating review for all of them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever weird app you use on your Android phone, all that good stuff. Go and do it. If you haven't, you're dogging the boys at that point. Don't dog the boys. Come on. All right. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Go check out House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Goldmines, Ramshack Alarmy, Iowa, Section I, Green, and Dozers for all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth. Wherever you listen to your tunes, smash those bands. We love them. NBA Straya loves Australian bands. So should you. All right. Looking forward to going down the beach. Should be good. So I'll do Monday and Tuesday shows maybe down there. Maybe Tuesday I'll be back here. Depends on what time we sort of head off. But anyway, it should be good. Smashing tins, hanging out. Looking forward to it. All right, we'll catch you on Monday, dickheads. Have a great weekend. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And little Hosanna!
Cooking with Bainsy is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
And now it's time for Cooking with Bainsy with your host, Aaron Bangers Baines.
Yes. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, look at you over there. Oh, yes. I see you over there, Cheryl. You're here every week. Oh, love you too. Oh, love you too, hon. Yes, look at you. Oh, this is great. Oh, come on. Oh, settle down. Oh, yeah, that's right. Thanks for that. That's Ripper. All right, g'day. Welcome to Cooking with Bainsy, and I'm your host, Aaron Bangers Baines. That's it. Cooking with Bainsy. I love this. And in this here episode, we are going to whip you up one of my absolute favourite Australian classics that you can have whenever. You can have it for brekkie. You can have it for lunch. You can have it for tea. It is that absolute modern Australian classic. It's avocado toast. Oh, yes. That's right, it's an absolute Aussie classic now, mate. And after I got this recipe from my little mate Deli, I love me some avo toast. And, maybe not as much as my mate Deli, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's easy as, mate. I punch through enough of this that it definitely helps me keep up this physique, you know what I mean? Every brekkie I'm on this train, so I reckon you better jump on board. All right, so it is bloody simple, mate. All you gotta do is go down to your soupy and just grab a loaf of whatever bread you like to toast up. Me, I like a bit of multigrain. I like a little bit more crunch in my toast. Just like the screens I set for the Celtics, a bit of crunch is what I like. Then I grab a ripe old avo, grab a lemon on your way out, and away we go. All right, now, and this is very important. A lot of people try to do fancy shit to avo toast. And look, you can if you really, really want to get all fancy-pantsy. You can put some goat's cheese on there. You can put some tomatoes in there. You can put a bit of red onion if you feel like it. Sprinkle some of that bullshit ducker, which I think is just fucking crumbs or whatever the fuck shit it is. But anyway, all you actually need to do is keep it simple as, mate. Toast, avo, bit of lemon. So it's simple. Fang your bread in the toaster. Then sit back, crack a tin, and let it all get nice and browned up. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is either. When you're cracking a tin and cooking with Bainesy, it's always time for a tin. So, now, slice up your avo, dump it into a bowl, scoop it out. Yep, there you go. Scoop her out into a bowl. Now, mush that bastard up into a paste. Just mush her up. There you go. Just mush her up. Fuck it. There you go. Yep. Now, once that's done, it's all mushed up, all nice. Get your knife. Now, your toast is done. She's popped up. Get your toast out. Now, slather that avo all over your toast about, you go 1 to 2 inches thick, I reckon. That's how I usually go, eh? Absolute, just smother it in avo. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Then drizzle a bit of lemon on top, and away we go. Just bloody well. Look at that. Put a bit of salt and pepper on top, and all you have to do then, get your bloody munch on. Oh, how good is that? It is an absolute bloody ripper of a treat. The best bit is it's good for any time of day. Brekkie, avo toast. Lunch, avo toast. Tea, avo toast. It's just bloody delicious, mate. And look, of course, you got to make sure you get your avos when they're in season, or else you'll never be avo to afford a bloody house. All right, how easy was that? Thanks to my little mate Deli for the recipe, and I hope yous all enjoy it too. All right, avo toast. Legendary. All right, tune in next week for a brand new recipe, and we'll see yous then on the next episode of Cooking with Bainesy.